What is going on, everybody? It's time to talk about another city. This is a city I've spent a lot of time in over the years. It's a city you could live in for years and not really know. A couple hours outside of Death Valley sits Las Vegas, or Sin City, or the city that never sleeps, a tourist trap, whatever you want to call it. Vegas has been called many things over the years, most of them not very complimentary. Vegas is a town where dreams become nightmares faster than any other place on Earth. If you want to see proof of this, take the Friday afternoon flight, say out of Los Angeles to Vegas, and then take the Sunday afternoon flight home. You will see a drastic difference in your fellow passengers' demeanor. But still, every weekend people go there, and in the last decade or so, tons of people have moved to Vegas. But before you make that move to Vegas, I think you should watch this video. So here's my top 10 reasons not to move to Vegas. Number 10. Traffic. The traffic problem in Vegas is a nightmare. Like every other major city, Las Vegas has traffic problems. But this is different. The city has very aggressive drivers, and I'm not just talking about the cabbies. I'm talking about the normal citizens. And the problem is doubled by the lack of police patrols on the freeways. The freeway system is a lesson to all city planners on how not to make a freeway system. All those issues create rush hours not only in the morning and late afternoon, but also pretty much 24 hours a day. This is due to the population boom in recent years. Number 9. The schools blow. Schools and education is yet another problem in Las Vegas. The rising population is forcing them to build new schools at a hurried pace. This brings you to the first problem. Their high schools, their middle schools, and all the schools in general really have the architecture that you could only find in prisons. Now that's great that they're building schools, but this brings you to the second problem. They need qualified personnel to fill the positions. Teachers make in the neighborhood of $30K a year, give or take. That wasn't that bad 10 years ago in Vegas. Now it is. The cost of living has been outpacing the yearly income of a teacher at a good clip, and a lot of teachers aren't moving to Vegas anymore. Number 8. Gambling. Yeah, no shit, right? Vegas has gambling. That's really not earth-shattering news. But here's the thing. You will live and breathe gambling whether you like it or not. You might go there saying that you're not a gambler, you know the house always wins, you're not that dumb to waste your hard-earned money. But when there's a casino on every corner, the lure is hard to avoid. Thinking of getting your distractions elsewhere? Go see a show, some form of entertainment, maybe go to dinner. That's great, but guess what? They're all mostly in casinos as well. You will have to walk through every form of gambling to get where you want to be. What else is there? What entertainment is there that isn't in a casino in Vegas? Strip clubs, maybe? That brings me to another problem. Number 7. The strip clubs suck. Now the first thing is it costs $50 to get in the door of most strip clubs in Vegas. That's your cover charge, $50. Now this is a good way to weed out the cheap dudes. They do this on purpose. If you're not ready to drop some serious cash, you probably shouldn't be there in the first place. Strippers are in charge in Vegas. I don't care if you have the title manager, the reality is the dancers are managing the manager. They tell him what to do. Vegas is the only place that I've seen where the strippers are actually rude to the customers. I've watched them tell a dude to get off the rail because he kept dropping ones, okay? Now, he probably shouldn't have been doing that in the Vegas strip clubs, but I've also seen them do that to guys that were dropping 10s and 20s. They're just rude. If I want to have a girl treat me like crap and take all my money, I have a wife. I can get that at home, with no $50 cover charge. Number 6. Jobs. If you don't like serving drinks, waiting tables, dealing cards, or driving a taxi, you better sharpen those verbal skills. One of the largest industries in Vegas, after casinos, is customer service call centers. On any day, you can find close to 1,000 call center job openings. I only know of one call center in the country that people working for and calling into don't universally hate, and that's Netflix. Sadly, Netflix doesn't have a call center in Vegas. I do know they outsource around the country, but those really aren't Netflix. Thank God Comcast isn't there. There's enough angry people as it is. Number 5. The locals keep secrets. It's hard to find things in Vegas that aren't in a casino or at least geared towards tourists. If you've lived in Vegas for a while, you start wanting to know where the best places are to like eat, drink, dance, get your nails done, etc., that aren't in the casinos. Now, once you've lived there for a while, made some friends, and all that good stuff, they'll start letting you know about all these hidden gems. I have friends from high school that have lived there for over a decade and so, and every time I've gone, they've told me where to eat and things like that. And it's been really nice. It's kind of nice to get away from the casinos. When it comes to casinos, though, I've also learned that the smaller ones are a lot of times the better ones. I go to the Hooters casino, not because it's called Hooters, because it's small. It's the right size. And they have great wings, so that's another plus. Number 4, housing prices. Like every place else, prices are going up now that the US economy has been in a recovery mode for some years. The thing is, when the economy tanked, so did Vegas real estate. They took a serious hit. I was looking at the history of some of these houses in and around Las Vegas on Zillow. They show the history of the prices. What was $300,000 in 2006 dropped to around $125,000 in 2011. This, of course, drew hordes of people to Vegas. Vegas had been growing before the crash, and this just made the influx of people bigger and bigger. Now that the place is filled up, homeowners are selling their homes, and they're charging more than what their house is worth. In a lot of cases, 20 to 25% more than its estimate. And people are paying it. I guess buyers and sellers forgot that it's a frickin' desert. Side note, we also tested atomic bombs just outside of Vegas. That doesn't seem to bother people. They're still buying houses. Besides skin cancer, I wonder what other types of cancer you can pick up on a hike out in the Vegas desert. Number 3, downtown Vegas. Downtown Las Vegas is a joke. Now, I love downtowns. Whenever I make a video, either pro or con, about a city, I always talk about the downtown area. Downtowns, or city centers, whatever you call it, where you come from, are normally where it all started for a city or town. It's where the history is. When I travel to any new city, I always like to walk around downtown, just to kind of get a feel for the city, see what it's all about. If you do this in Vegas, you'll probably get the feeling that they have an insane electrician as a city planner. This place is grossly over-illuminated. Now that's kind of how all of Vegas is, but the center, downtown of Vegas, like Fremont Street, it's like Vegas on steroids down there. It's ridiculous. Tourists, neon lights. There's so many neon lights you actually don't know what anything is because it's all one big glow. Side note, you could go ziplining down the middle of Fremont Street, and they also have a Denny's with a full bar. Who would have guessed that? Number 2, they have really bad public transportation. Public transportation, that's really not what you call this pathetic, dismal system. The only thing they do well is keep those deuces, the double-decker buses, running up and down the strip for the tourists. That's the only thing that ever seems to work properly. You need to have a vehicle in Vegas, no matter what. Don't expect to catch the bus. There's no train system to speak of. I know there's one around the casinos on the strip, but that's nothing. That just takes you from casino to casino. If you don't live on the strip, there's pretty much no public transportation. Drive down any neighborhood in the Vegas burbs, out in the suburbs and stuff like that, the driveways are littered with 4 or 5 trucks or cars. What I can't understand about Vegas is the amount of trucks and SUVs that litter this city. How on earth can these people afford gas in Vegas? Vegas gas prices are pretty high compared to other places. It's like they don't believe in global warming, and they should. The place is hot as hell. Number 1, oppressive heat. Las Vegas has some of the worst weather I have ever come across. That being said, I hate the heat and some people prefer it, and I get that, so this one's probably a little biased. And that's great if you like the heat, but this isn't your normal heat. In case you think I'm exaggerating this, keep in mind, Vegas is only 2 hours from Death Valley, the hottest spot on Earth some days. Now, if you ever do want to drive to Death Valley, make sure you have a car with really good AC, plenty of water, and keep in mind you do have to drive through Pahrump, Nevada. This is just nothing but a small desert town, except for it has legalized prostitution. There's Sherry's Ranch and the Chicken Ranch, 2 of Pahrump's legal brothels. Most guys heading to Death Valley from Vegas only make it this far. For some reason, expeditions to Death Valley always end in Pahrump. But when it's not hot as balls in Vegas, which is only like 3 weeks a year, you have to watch out for the rain. The rain brings flash floods. Every year, the news shows some car floating away in a flash flood. Some poor sap inside the car, staring out the driver's window, hands on the glass, and a confused look on his face. And he's always looking at the news cameras for some reason, I don't know why. And it's like, if I stare at you long enough, will you get me out of this? You know he's thinking, holy shit, I'm going to drown in the driest place on earth, and I will be the laughingstock of my family. And I'll never know if Kim and Kanye actually made it. Never mind that. The weather in Vegas is horrible. That is the worst reason for moving to Vegas. Well, that's it. That's my video today. I hope you enjoyed it. That's the top 10 reasons not to move to Vegas. If you do go to Vegas, make sure you stop by the Hooters Hotel. They didn't pay me to say this. I just like the place. You guys have a great day. Be nice to each other.